Hi, my name is Nariba Shepherd.
And I'm Justin Arnett Graham.
And this is Terms of Service.
Hello, hi. Good morning, good afternoon, good morning.
It's good morning.
It is good morning.
Yeah, so
but not as early morning
Thank
as
God.
is traditional.
Yeah.
So, and for that I'm grateful. But how are you?
Girl,
Girl, I already know, but
I'm trying my best. I'm fighting for my life. But we're here,
Definitely.
and we're doing it.
We're doing the thing. Absolutely. And so, on my end,
Yeah.
I'm still slightly recovering from an amazing wedding. It was a couple nights ago, but it was a rager. So that is something that I was extremely happy to be a part of. And also, I go out of town in a few days, chill with my mom.
You're going to be gone for my birthday.
But I'm very much with you on your birthday.
Yep.
And happy early birthday,
you
by the
sent
way.
in the out of town situation. I was like, all right, I see you.
Sorry, we unfortunately lost,
I know,
our
can't
dog.
remember. Yes.
So my mom's having a hard time. So I'm gonna
gotta
dip
go see
down
her.
to
You gotta see her.
Arizona and be like,
Yeah.
hey, yeah. I'm like, it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. But anyhow,
It is end times.
it is gonna be.
I'm
It
here
is
to
gonna be all right for
fearmonger.
Dolores on that day.
Okay.
Yes, I was
fine.
like, absolutely.
Dolores can have it.
Yeah, that is fair. So on our end, I'm so excited to be sitting down with the both of you, and also we are not at our typical spot.
True.
Yes.
Yeah. I was very excited because I be dilly-dallying, and I did not look up where I was going. I was like, I feel like I know where this place is. And then this, last night at work, I was like, oh, this is the closest I've ever had to travel.
Absolutely.
Usually we're fucking going down to the West Loop.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
This is less than 3 miles from where I stay. I like that.
There it is.
But I know it's only today.
That's fair. Yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back soon.
Goddamn.
But my friends, we're here at Cariño, and so please introduce yourselves, starting with you, Chef.
So my name is Chef Norman Fenton. I'm the owner-operator here at Cariño.
Fantastic.
Uptown.
Amazing. And yourself, my friend.
My name is Raymond Medina. I'm the beverage director at Cariño.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
Well, thanks for inviting us over.
No,
This
thank you very much
chill.
for having us.
Yeah,
Seriously.
of course. This
Beautiful
is
space.
This is absolutely stunning. So, also on top of that, I will, start as per tradition. What are your signs?
Yeah.
Chef, starting with you.
Like astrological signs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sagittarius on the cusp.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Which cusp?
Capricorn.
Okay.
Okay.
That didn't sound like a good sign.
No. That's a good sign.
It's a good sign. Yes. And then
I can't get that into it. I'm a Aquarius. My birthday is the 18th, so I'm like the last
You
of the
cuspy.
Aquarius. I'm a
Yeah.
Aquarius too, or cus too. Yeah,
nice.
Aquarius.
we're
Water sign.
both Aquarius.
All right.
So, Aquarii.
Yep.
Yeah, one of those. Got it.
Air Virgos, man. Just
There
out
it is.
here with a plan. No real route, but you're doing it.
We're doing our
Every
best
day.
out here. Absolutely.
And it's crazy to me that, actually, no, because you're closer to the cusp of Capricorn, that you're not trying to run away. You're like, I live here. This is where I live.
You're like, this is where I'm at.
Yeah.
This is where I'm anchored.
So, respectfully, good job.
Thank you.
I don't disagree with your signs. We can go through this.
There was one there.
You're waiting for a
there's-
Scorpio?
You asked me.
No.
I love a Scorpio.
Yes.
Scorpio.
Well, let me tell you.
No, there's one sign specifically that we've
didn't
had
say it.
a few guests. I'm not saying what sign it
Okay,
is,
cool.
but it has lived up to that sign.
That's what
So
it is.
I'll tell you off
And I don't
mic.
even trust my own people. Fucking Aries. Yeah.
It is your season, so again, happy
know.
early birthday.
Thank you.
So of course,
But also, fucking Aries. Yeah. Okay. So let's get into the thick and thin of it because Chef got prep to do. Respectfully.
so can you talk to us a bit about your background and how
you ended
everything
up
has
here?
come to be?
Yeah, it's a long journey.
know?
Journey. So I started cooking when I was 14 years old
Amazing.
in Metro Detroit. Honestly, I just got a job cooking. I started working as a busboy for a few months. Saw a dishwasher that was working doubles every day, crying, not crying about it, but really upset that he had to work the double. And I was like, hey, I would love to work that other shift for you. And, you make how much money you make? And he told me, I was like, oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
So I did that for about a month or two, and then one day the owner called and was like, hey, do you want to learn how to work the fry station? I'm like, well, does it make more money?
Yeah. Right.
That's what, I was like 15 at the time, and he was like, yeah, of course, we'll pay you $16 an hour.
What?
And I was like, yeah.
What year is this?
Oh my God, this is over 21 years ago, 22 years ago.
The fuck?
Yeah. I was like, this is great. Yeah. And so I started doing that. At first it was, just a money driven factor. I mean, I'm 15 years old, and now I'm the best friend in the group, because now we can all go out and do things and buy things that we shouldn't be buying and doing things together, as friends, right?
Yep.
But that then turned into meeting somebody that was running that restaurant named Derek Watson, chef who worked underneath Takashi, which was a 1 Michelin star chef here in Chicago.
Yes.
Very old school legend name.
Yep.
Slurping Turtle and that stuff.
Familiar with that address. We can talk about that off.
And then
off mic, yes.
Yes. And he was young, and he gave me the French Laundry cookbook, and I was like, what is this?
That's how they get you.
And I was looking at it, and I was like, this is what food can be? And he's like, yeah, of course. And at this point, I'm just used to Red Lobster, that kind of thing. And those things still hit the heartstrings.
Ain't nothing wrong
Nothing
with
wrong
Red
with a Cheddar
Lobster.
Bay biscuit.
Oh, the
okay?
best in town. What do you mean? I just took my wife there 2 weeks ago. She just got here from Mexico 6 months ago. My wife and kids. She just got, after a 4.5 year immigration process, took her to Red Lobster, and she was like, "These biscuits are insane." I'm
Yes,
like,
yeah.
Love it.
They put MSG in that bitch.
So now we can
I
go
love
back.
it.
Yes.
Now we can go back.
Yes.
Wait, have you taken her to Olive Garden?
Yes, she loves Olive Garden. But you know what? I'm gonna be honest. The Olive Garden in Cancun's way better than the Olive Garden anywhere here in Chicago.
Bitch,
They got a Serrano Alfredo pasta that's insane.
See?
Okay, that sounds
fuck I'm
fire.
talking about.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Yeah.
They got the little
okay.
Mexican touches on the
Yeah,
the pastas
exactly.
down there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I started cooking in Detroit.
Now I want that.
Started coming back, just doing that thing, and then it came to a point where eventually it was like my mom was like, well, what are you gonna do for college, right? You're coming on 18. What are you gonna do? And I was missing school. I was missing my first and second hour a lot because I was working late nights and. Talked to the principal, ended up deciding that dropping out, getting my GED was the best move. And so I did that. And then from there, just started working in kitchens more and more, engulfing myself into it. Every place I worked at went from high volume down to smaller scale as we went on, but finer and more refined food. And then, I started running restaurants in the Metro Detroit area. When I was like 24, 23. Damn. And then, I wanted a different challenge. I wanted to be in a Michelin market. And at that time, there was only San Francisco, Chicago, and New York. And Chicago was the closest thing that felt like home because I'm a Midwest boy at heart, right? I'm from Detroit. And then it was the cheapest.
Yeah.
It was the cheapest.
Yeah.
So,
by comparison. Yeah.
So I came to Chicago, took a job within the Linea Group. Worked at the Aviary. They were doing a remodel. They were in Madrid at the time. Engulfed myself into what was very interesting experience. Both productive, great, and toxic at the same time. But there were some great things about it, and some things that were helped me shape who I wanted to be in the future about it that I didn't like. Right.
Yeah.
And then from there, I ended up having a falling out with the chef there at the time. I wanted to go work at Next. He wasn't really happy about that. I looked at it as an internal transfer. I didn't really think of it as a big deal. I was like, this is, it's the same company. What are you talking about?
No.
And
they like you where they like you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, then it ended up into me, leaving. And then I took a job to go back home in Detroit. And this was I was only here for just like 8 or 9 months or something like that. And I went and staged at Schwa in that time frame, and I didn't think they were going to offer me a job, and this was like a whole nother world for me.
What year did you work there?
I worked there from 2014 to 2020.
I feel like we have ran in before this.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to be honest,
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. I remember definitely at the John Von Shea Awards.
Yes.
I mean, there's been multiple instances. I mean, I'm not a very public. I don't go out in the public very often. I'm pretty reclusive. Like, we all work in kitchens. We're in the public all the time. I want to stay inside my little cage.
Yeah.
Right?
My brain is like, I think it was one of the Michelin galas or whatever the fuck. But my chef took me with him because I had dishes on the menu when we got the star, and we met a bunch. I think the chef at Schwa we like hung out with for a bit. So I'm like, where was it there? This is a side quest that doesn't need to happen. You got shit to do.
Yeah.
But
No.
it's in my brain now. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so after that experience, I ended up at Schwa. I mean, I didn't want to go back to Detroit with my, my tail between my legs after X amount of months when I set out to reach a goal and something like that. And, I'm definitely a goal-oriented person. I chase my dreams and my goals. I mean, so.
Sagittarius.
Right. Yeah, right. So yeah, I ended up at Schwa. I was a cook there for a year. I was sous chef for like 4 months, and then I was the chef de cuisine running the place for, over 3.5 years. And then at that point, I was it was getting a little taxing, right? I've sacrificed my entire 14 on out to. That was like 28 at the time of my life, my personal life, things I wanted to do, birthdays missed, all that kind of stuff. And I just chose that. All right, well, I'm going to take a break. I saved up enough money. I'm going to go somewhere.
And that's kind of like the trade-off, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like as much, passion and drive as you have, you miss out on those moments, but that's also kind of just the collateral damage of being a part of this industry as well,
100%.
which is a sad, unfortunate reality at times.
That we can change.
That we
if
can
we
change.
slowly start putting the people first instead of the customers. And I get it, like, people don't want to talk about the money aspect of things, but I think that we have allowed the culture to get to this point, and the only way that it can change is that if we make a concerted, like, effort to do that.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
like, a big part of how I ended up doing this podcast is because I wanted, like, non-industry folk to realize that we are also human beings, and we would also like to live lives instead of making memories for everyone, with the only memories being here.
Yeah.
Which some people love that. Pop off slay. But like, for me, I think that people, employees, workers are dispensable for the most part in this industry unless you are making an effort to, like, actually be part of a community. And so for me, my community of people outside of work is more valuable because they're always going to be there, even if my job isn't.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just out here trying to manipulate people into caring about themselves a little bit more every day.
You're very much my accountability partner, and I don't do well on that, but I appreciate it. So
I'm gonna just keep saying shit.
that's very true. Continue, Chef.
I mean, at that point, I wanted to go to 3 places. The problem was I just bought a Cadillac. All right, it was my dream car.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, I grew up in
Which one?
Detroit, so I got a Cadillac CTS luxury package. Like, I saved up for it. I grew up in Detroit. I remember watching the pastors drive around going, "Oh, he made it. He got it."
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? So that was like a childhood dream. And then I wanted to go to France, Japan, or Mexico, and I was like, well, I can't afford to ship this car over there, So I just packed it up with my dog and we drove down to Mexico.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And so then I spent
You
time.
also can't go to Japan if you have a felony. Fun fact, I learned.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm okay.
Well, yeah. I was saying.
I don't have felonies. For the record, I don't have felonies.
The record.
Yes.
I went to Mexico, and then I soaked up the life down there. That I met my business partner down there, started working at her restaurant consulting. Then I ended up becoming the executive chef at a place called Wild in Tulum, running that. And I met my wife. And then it just, turned into a whole little thing of, well, now we got a kid and we got a family, we got this, we got things going on. And the pandemic, though, was pretty rough, right? It was rough in the States, but it was even more rough down there. So that came around.
Yeah. Can you talk a bit about that? Like how, that just kind of piqued my curiosity. How was the pandemic in Mexico during that time?
Overall, in terms of public things, it was pretty lax, right? You know what I mean? You could be in the streets, you could be without a mask, there's rules, but no one enforced them, right? Everybody was pretty relaxed. But the businesses were legally required to shut down. And there's a lot of things that were required to shut down and not have access to, which meant nobody was working.
Yeah.
And then tourism started happening, right? They closed the borders, traveling became, a whole different scenario.
Right.
So people weren't coming there. Right. So it turned into like a ghost town. pretty much.
Wow.
You know, and that's what it came down to, is the money started wearing real thin. You know, I think when I crossed back over the border after because I had to drive all the way back up.
Yeah.
And that was an expense in itself.
Right.
Yeah, I had less than $1,000 in my bank account. When I came in, I had no place to move, nothing like that. You know, so I was like, whatever, I go back to Chicago. And then this gentleman who was a partner at Schwa a long time ago had a restaurant called Brass Heart in this location we're in right now. And he had called me.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. He had called me and said that we lost our executive chef. Would you be interested in something? And so I was like, okay, like, sure. What's the pay? What can I do? You know, whatever. And it ended up working out because I didn't know where dining was even going at that point in the middle of the pandemic. And I was like, whatever, I got a job. Like, I feel fortunate, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I worked there, and, you know, it was not the funnest time, right? There's some things that I didn't agree with and things that were happening. A lot of things that helped shape the ideologies of what we have here. Yeah. And so after 2.5 years of working there, you know, I think I just had my son. A couple months later, he called me like 5 days before, said, hey, we're closing down. And I kind of knew that was happening because the last couple months before, I wasn't allowed to hire anybody, and I was like cooking 16-course tasting menus by myself for 20 people a night. Yeah, I mean, I remember my last dinner cooking there. It was a bunch of James Beard was in town. It was a big table of James Beard award winners, and they all came back like, oh, everything was amazing, everything. You know, I was like, you know, and I was just like, I'm just glad you guys had a great time because I had an awful time. And then I called them, and I was like, you know, I screw your 5 days. Like, I'm done with this crap, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm good. So he shut down the restaurant. Done. I didn't have work. One of my buddies held me down, employed me at Flour Power for a little bit. Pasta shop in West Town.
Yeah.
Paid me too much money to put pasta in paper bags and put cheese on top, you know, but held me down. I was able to take care of my kids and my family, which I appreciated.
Yes.
And
You're like an immigrant. Like,
my wife's an immigrant for
no,
sure.
No. I mean, like, because when I first moved to the States, I was like living with my grandma and my aunts and stuff, and they were nannies. But all the money they were making was going back to Trinidad to like support the family, and I'm like, you're giving immigrant energy.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what it did. I mean, I took care. I made sure that my wife and my kids' life did not change one bit based on what was going on in my personal life down in Mexico.
Yeah.
You know, we were fortunate. That was, you know, we had a place in Mexico, which was obviously, you know, we had a beautiful apartment, but it was cheap in comparison to what's happening in Chicago, right? I mean, it was right on
Even though Chicago is cheap compared to
other cities, you know.
Yeah.
So you know that all happened, and you know during that whole time we're going through an immigration process, right? And just going back and forth, flying back and forth to, you know, sometimes 2-3 times a month to just see my wife and kids for a day and a half, 2 days, or to go to the restaurant and work for 2 days and come back, because I still had that job. It was sparingly, but I had it, right? And then when this closed, my business partner, the owner of the restaurant down in Tulum, was like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I don't know, like, go just work somewhere, try to make a bunch of money, I don't care, flip burgers, whatever, I got to take care of my family, you know?
Yeah.
And she's like, is that really what you want to do? And I'm like, no, but like, okay. And so what do you want to do? And then I told her, I was like, you know, for the past 2 years, this is what I've wanted to do. This is what I want this space. I want to do it in this space, but I want to do this to this space. You know, I like the space. I like the layout. I like the, you know, and she just basically pulled out a computer and was like, just talk. And then I just told her, I was like, this is the concept. This is what I would do. This is what the direction is. These are the values. These are the philosophies. This is what I want to accomplish. This is, you know, how long I want to be here. You know, I want to build something that's going to be 15, 20 years long, you know, and have control of it, have control of the entire direction, have control of what we do, take days off, you know, like, you know, we do, you know, you were talking about the industry earlier and having to work on certain days and sacrifice. I have that choice here. So we close on Father's Day because I'm going to go spend time with my family. You know what I mean? We close on Mother's Day because I'm going to take care of my wife and my mom. Yeah. You know what I mean? So we close on important holidays that are very important. You know,
that's incredible.
That's Ray, like my son's birthday was on a Saturday in February. Right before Valentine's Day, and I said, "Close it."
Yeah,
we're going to Jungle Safari out in Villa Park and playing arcades.
What the fuck is Jungle Safari?
Oh, it's this ridiculous like arcade dealio with like
I'm ready.
Yeah,
I'm going.
Safari Land. Safari Land. Look it up, Villa Park.
Yes, amazing.
And you know, so that was kind of, you know, she started talking about it. And I was like, all right, well, where are we gonna get this money? And I was like, well, you know, we got to figure out a price because we could probably do a purchase asset sale on the things that are in here, like glassware, silverware, things that are, we know the history of it because I worked there, you know what I mean? Yeah. So we worked out that deal. got the landlord involved, worked out that deal with the lease, and she came up with the cash chunk of cash to make it happen, and said, I trust you, do it. Like, I believe in you and I trust you. And so
bitches get shit done.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So then
respectfully.
Yes. Yes.
And so then, we opened Cariño. I mean, I didn't know what was going to happen. I tell these guys all the time, especially Ray and Camille, it's like, when we opened up, that first payroll coming around, there was less than 10 G's in the bank account. Payroll was 16,000. I didn't know what was going to happen when we opened that door. We didn't build this with a lot of money. Like, what I mean? There's not a lot behind it. We had our first month was awful. But everything after that, just fell in line, and everybody, that was putting in the effort, and, everybody just put in the effort to fulfill the goal, right? And say, this is what we want to be, and this is who we want to be, and this is our values and philosophies, and, the art of hospitality that they carry with them.
Absolutely. So then quick question. So obviously the relationship with the space, can you speak a bit about the neighborhood specifically?
So the neighborhood, I love Uptown. It is eclectic.
Yes.
You know what I mean? For me, Uptown is, I think it's super special. I mean, it's got a really great history, right? We date this all the way back. This was the entertainment district of Chicago before the Great Fire. When you're talking about the Rat Pack and all that, Al Capone and all that, they were hanging out at the Green Mill, hanging out over here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's tunnels underneath these restaurants, underneath these buildings that connect to each other. The place across the street, the corner store, their basement comes out to the middle of Broadway, and they're a whole 50 feet into Broadway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, there's like all these little things from the Prohibition that I think was really cool and interesting. Obviously, I think in the 80s and the 90s, things took a little bit of a different turn here in Uptown. I can't speak too much on that. I didn't live here. I wasn't living then in the 80s, and I was born in 89, and I was definitely not here. I was in Detroit, in the 90s. Yeah. So, but from my understanding, it went through a lot of changes, and now it's even going through even more changes. You see a Stan's Donut pop up down the street, but then you see, a homeless encampment right across the street.
We were literally outside talking about this, and I was like, I wanted to ask, like, do you think that this place is possible because that gentrification target went up? That school got shut down and was turned into lofts, and then everything started changing. When I moved here in 2013, it was a month into me living in Chicago, and I was on the Red Line going to Pride, and I heard this white man say to his white girlfriend, "This is a gentrification target, and everything's about to change here." And he was not wrong.
Right.
And I was like, but I think that without all of that, like, change that was happening, like, would the previous restaurant have been here? Would you guys be here?
Well, what put me, had faith in the space was 15 years ago, there was a 2 Michelin star restaurant in this space. We won't talk about that restaurant because they don't deserve to be talked about. The chef doesn't deserve to be talked about. He doesn't deserve any recognition whatsoever from anybody. So I'm not going to speak of the name or the restaurant, but we know what it is.
Absolutely.
And so I knew that there was possibility, right? Pre-Cariño, would I say that this was possible with the neighborhood, or the neighborhood would be supporting this? Absolutely not. It wasn't, the people that were coming to the restaurant before weren't coming from the neighborhood, but we've been super fortunate here to have, I would say, at least 25 to 35% of our business is people go, I live around the block.
Yeah.
I just walked by one day, saw you.
Yeah.
So yes, it has changed. I do think it is helpful. But at the end of the day, we are destination dining no matter what. You could barely tell we're a restaurant from the outside. You know what I mean? So most people don't even know unless they know, right? Unless they're walking by and paying attention.
That's like my job. No one knows it's there until they're like literally walking down that street.
Yeah.
And they're like, this has been here? And I'm like, yeah, like 11 plus years now. But that's the thing about like neighborhood places. It's important that the neighborhood see like the potential and the investment that they're doing when they come into the space.
Yeah.
And they like are supporting this small local business. It's what makes the neighborhoods in Chicago different than other places.
Oh, for sure. Super special. I mean, there's a lot of history here. And, the other thing, too, is, like, we don't carry that same rent. You're talking about the West Loop and how having to go there. We don't carry that same rent fee, which then helps us focus more on reinvesting in our restaurant through employees, through equipment, through paid time off. You know what I mean? Everybody here is salary, so like we take vacations in you know, we take 2 weeks and over 2 weeks in January. Everybody's paid. You know what I mean?
Incredible.
In July, we take another week and a half. Everybody's paid. And, you know, with like those days that I was talking about, the Father's Day off of that, those are days that we're open. Technically, the restaurant's not making any revenue, but everybody's still paid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We may not be getting tips or anything that day because we don't have any tips coming in, but we're getting our salaries. We're getting, and then everybody here is very competitively paid, and that's, you know, that's allows us to do that and not have to sit there and carry the burden of 25 grand or 30 grand or 40 grand in rent in the West Loop or downtown, where we have to sit there and make decisions that obviously are business decisions, but maybe not be in the best interest for the business in the long term.
Yes.
You know?
So then that brings me to my next point here. So Ray, can you talk a bit about your background and how you both linked up together?
Yeah, so I started at True Restaurant as a dishwasher. I always say I got lucky. People are like, how are you lucky if you're a dishwasher? At that time, True was like one of the hardest restaurants to get in. I didn't know that. I didn't grow up eating in restaurants like that. People like with suits on, stuff like that. So I was dishwashing. I was there for about a year and a half. Also, I was there when people were like walking out on me like other dishwashers because it was a tasting menu, probably doing like 150 covers back then. So it was busy and it was hard. And we were probably like leaving 2, 3 in the morning. So they were like walk out on me, I would stay. So they seen that I was also like young, first time in restaurants. I wanted to transfer, I wanted to leave. It was let us entertain you so you could transfer to a different restaurant. I didn't know where I wanted to go. And at the time, Paula was there. I don't know if you remember Paula.
Yeah.
She stopped me. She's like, why would you do that? I was like, well, I can't dishwash some money to make more money. Plus, it sucks. Like, it sucks. So she was like, well, you got this huge tattoo on your neck. The thing that stopped me right now is that tattoo. Like, it's like back then, there was no tattoos, like visible tattoos. So I just said out of nowhere, like, what if I got it removed? And she's like, well, let me talk to the chef. And then chef he was like kind of cool with me, Anthony Martin. So honestly, just went and just started knocking this tattoo off, started getting it lasered. So they seen I was serious about that, and they just threw me into kind of just like being a porter. Kind of like bounced around with Michelin. Met Chef, honestly, through Cammy. Came here to eat his food when it was Brass Heart. So I knew he was real good at cooking. Plus, I like heard his name like popping up a lot. Didn't personally know him, but like knew his name. To kind of piggyback about the Uptown thing. So I was at Moody Tongue, went 2 stars. So it was busy. It was busy. Money was good. I felt like I wasn't learning nothing no more. I learned the beer real quick, and it was like kind of like they formed me into like who I am now. So I will give them a shout out with that.
How did you transition from being a porter into?
Well, yeah, I didn't want to get like too into the like.
No.
So honestly, at True, I transferred into everything. Went into a porter. Some guy got fired, and there was an extra suit there, and they were like, "Hey, to see if the suit fits you." And
oh my God!
I don't know how. It was like a Cinderella story. I don't know how it fit me because this guy's like 6'3", I'm like 5'10", and it fit me. I got it ultra a little bit.
Traveling pants.
Some other guy, Jorge, wanted to make more money, but you don't make more money at True unless you do more. So he became a front waiter. They needed someone to become an expediter. So it was like, hey, we seen you had like some type of like organization skills to see if you could expo. I got kind of good at it. Had a couple times where maybe I was sitting like the wrong table first, whatever, and that True everything had to be on. So that would happen like once in a while, but other than that, like I was fine.
Call that a learning curve.
Yeah, it was a learning curve. Yeah,
for sure.
Went there, then became a back server. But at True, you honestly had like a captain, front waiter, back server. So it was a massive team of just like. So I was literally just like the water boy.
A machine.
I left there to go to Spiaggia, and then that's how I got into the serving thing. So Joe was finally like, hey, Cafe Spiaggia's opening up. This is back when they went to that remodeling. And I was expo there and a food runner. And he was like, you should go be a server. And I was like, nah. Like, they asked me this. They asked me this at True. Like, I'm not really a talker. I don't really like to speak much. I don't want to be in front of people.
Yes.
And Joe was like, you're insane.
And yet
you're crazy.
here you are speaking to us right now. Look at this.
Here I am.
It's different.
It's different. Yes.
I need a microphone. I still don't even know if you could hear me on a microphone. I'm like so monotone.
No, we got you. Yeah.
But yeah, so I went to Cafe Spiaggia I was doing both. And honestly, I sucked at being a server. I was like, I didn't know the prosciutto yet. I didn't know anything yet. I was like trying to figure it out. So then the choice was like, you need because you're going overtime now. Figure out if you want to stay at Cafe Spiaggia or Spiaggia. And said at Spiaggia. to make it quick, went to Acadia. Happened to me again. When you get into Acadia, you start off as a food runner. Right away, they're like, all right, you got like real good movement on the floor. Let's see you like back weight real quick. So I was back weighting with the general manager, Tyrone.
Yep.
And then conversation came in again. It's like, hey, would you ever think about being a server? And I was like, why does everyone keep trying to push this server thing? Like, yeah, if it comes down the lane, then I will. That's how I kept getting into the server role.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, met Chef through Camille, coming to eat at Brass Heart. But to piggyback on the Uptown thing was that almost did stop me from coming here, honestly, because I was like, man, it's Uptown. Like, I don't know if people are gonna travel there. Moody Tongue's still kind of hot right now, but I'm also like not really learning nothing, and there was opportunity to like get into like a different road that I haven't done. So I was like, see what he has, and walked in, and the way he talked, like the way he just talked, like he gets like really into it, and he paints a picture in your head. He painted this big old picture in my head, and I was like, hell yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
And
he's a salesman. That's what it is.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I won't talk about all the stuff. I'll let him talk about it. But yeah, when I walked in, the room was, I mean, the tables were here, but.
Well, he's about to leave, so you're about to talk about it.
So I mean, like the light fixtures and like the paintings, and like that came from his home, or like from Jalisco, like the paintings. The chandelier outside was like made by a small family from like Oaxaca or something, but like everything was just like handmade, like brought from Mexico, and yeah, he just like.
I mean, it's gorgeous.
He delivered it and he sold it.
Yeah, I mean, like the thing was for us is like, it's real important. I mean, my wife's Mexican, my kids are Mexican. My son looks like me, but he's brown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's why it's like that's so like I've been engulfed and put into a culture that maybe I didn't really go seeking for or asking for. I just fell in love with the right or wrong person, I guess.
You're like,
You got got.
And so it was really important when we were building this, because my business partners in Mexico too. It was that everything that we were putting in this space, we could tie back to the person we got it from, a family that we're supporting, a group of people that we are truly supporting, instead of going into a restoration hardware and saying, hey, we're going to buy this, and this for the restaurant. It's like, no, like I want this to come from this family. I know exactly who made this lamp, this mirror, this painting, this and that.
it's incredible.
I like a place with texture.
Yes.
Yeah, I like textures in my food.
Yeah, I said you got to taste his food.
See, yes. So then, because I know that we're wrapping up on time with you, Chef, specifically, what do you want people to take away from their experience here?
At the end of the day, what I want people to take away from their experience here when they come into Cariño is a sense of wholesomeness, as well as, either which way I want to provoke emotion. Whether it brings up a memory, positive or negative or anything, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm talking about with the food and the service and the experience, not like, let's bring up your ex that broke your heart or something. No, I want people to leave here and not only go, was that hospitality great? Was that service great? Was Ray's cocktails great? Was that wine program great? But I wanted them to go, I really felt immersed in that experience in general was great. So for me, it's a full concept thing. And that's why, like when I talk about the paintings and things like that and the water being from Mexico, it's all for
matters.
Me, little tiny details that tie this together that make this people leave and remember time after time their experience here. And that the sense of being they had when they were in these four walls.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
no, like I knew it too. I knew I was like he's gonna get the star. Like he opened up his own space. Well, because also at Moody Tongue, like we were rooting for him to get the star. When it was Brass Heart, so we were cheering him on for that one. It was like, oh, snub. Like, all right. And then it was like, all right, he's opened up his own spot now. Like
You just got to fight him.
If I go there or not, like he's gonna get the star. And he brought it in quick.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the other restaurant didn't have any solar character.
No.
That's okay.
It was an elevator.
That's
It was an elevator with nice music.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. It's like, even if the soul might be a little dark, you have to have something to like invoke feeling in food. Like, I think when I was in high school, my dance teacher was like, "You are very technically good, but like, I don't put like the same expressive emotion into it." So if someone is like doing the exact same move but they're feeling it, it looks so different. But with food, it was like, I'm technically good and I'm like, I'm trying to make you fucking cry when you eat this pierogi, bitch. And like, it wasn't happy, but I did it. And like, I think that's the thing. People need to understand that food is a feeling. And
sure.
that's
Well, and I'm going to be fair to myself. I did not work as hard as I work now then.
well, that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? I did not put
feeling-
as much effort. The difference here is like, you know, I
This is
have
your space.
well, not even that. I have responsibility for X amount of people working for me. I have responsibility to create growth. I have responsibility to create opportunities.
Absolutely.
I have responsibility to take care of them as much as I can within my realms that fit our standards and doesn't help us break away from them and still creates who we are and, you know, be fair
giving
to ourselves and our restaurant
that.
and everything
Yeah.
fair. You know, and that was the big motivating factor is like, you know, I don't have to work behind that stove if I don't really want to, right? I own this restaurant. I can pay people to do it. But if I want everybody to be as invested as, you know, as we are and to
Lead
take
by
them
example.
as far as I
Yes.
think we could take them, I have to be in it with them, right? And I have to put that extra effort in, you know, and I didn't put that extra effort in Brass Heart, to be honest, you know, when I was there. Whereas now the responsibility is different. I wasn't the owner. Now I have people that I have to care for,
Yep.
you know, beyond
That's
myself.
I think that's what it is. I think that there's two kinds of people, and you are the other person. Because I've worked under a lot of chefs, but like I could tell the difference between someone who wants to be there for the right reasons and someone who is driven by the goal and doesn't give a shit about the people.
Yeah.
And I said earlier, I was like, this is giving millennial because we have been so disenfranchised in all the generations that now we're like, how do we make this better for everyone? And so I think it's interesting that you took this methodology from I liked this, I didn't like this, and this is what I'm doing now. And what you're doing is creating a path for everyone that works here to say, oh, we could do it like this, which is how the change happens.
Yeah, little by little, right?
That's all that
Yeah,
matters.
well,
Little by
because
little.
I was
It
just
doesn't
going
have
to
be a
mention to work because we see it very
You're
much
2 minutes
in
past your
real
time,
time.
chef.
Yes.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's okay.
Yes. There's you know, because again, we see it very much in real time to where people don't apply the lessons that have been provided to them prior.
Yeah.
Right. So that's typically
The standard.
the standard.
100%.
Exactly.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's on us, you know, if we want to be, you know, on the forefront of
Change.
the industry, of change in the
Yeah.
industry here in Chicago, just as a high caliber restaurant in the direction that we want to go, you know, we have to make that conscious decision that, you know, right now we're in a changing of the guard, right? Like, you know, the people that we looked up to as chefs are now becoming, you know, old, you know, and I'm not saying old, they're still in their kitchens doing their thing, rocking their thing, but, you know, there's going to become a change in momentum and, you know, you have to make a decision what side you're going to want to be on. And if you want to be up, you could still have what they have and had.
Yes.
But provide it in a different way. You
Yep.
know?
Absolutely.
And, you know, I think you're gonna see a little bit more of that as we go through the next 10 to 20 years of this industry.
Because
you
most
know?
certainly there is that generational bridge.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So the industry just by concept already came up within that point of view. Because one thing that I was a part of a couple weeks ago, I was a part of a panel at Kendall College.
Okay.
And so sitting in front of these, you know, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, you know, next generation of the industry, I was just like,
Sparkle in their eyes.
yeah, I was like, this is so great to see. And they're like, well, from your experience, what is a piece of advice that you would share with all of us? And I was sitting there and being like, okay, I can give the answer that I know is going to hit the way that I feel would just be the most accepted. But then at the same time, I was like, no, actually, I was just like, no, I'm like, this industry is difficult. Like the work is significant. And there's a multitude of different ways to where you can achieve your goal. And so I landed with this whole idea of allowing yourself to figure it out and to listen to your experiences to help you figure out your trajectory moving forward.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, what the hell? And I was like, whoa. I was like, I was like, whoa. Yeah.
What would you
There's
say
not
to
just
them?
Yeah.
oh me. I'd be like, this is hard.
Yeah.
I feel like, and this is a little controversial, to exist in this industry, you have to hate yourself a little bit. Because let me tell you why.
I just feel
Let
like the
me
most
tell you
optimistic
why.
person sitting at this table right now.
No.
Listen,
No. Listen.
I could also
yes.
say why that is,
Yeah.
but we're gonna stick to the task.
Yeah.
I think you have to hate yourself a little bit because the amount of work and time and effort takes you away from so much stuff when you're trying to like get to where you want to be.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I think from 2013 to like 2017, 18, I was in the I kind of hate myself era, but I'm moving up. Yeah. I'm getting all the steps. I'm doing what I want to do. 2019, I got the opportunity to be an executive chef. Didn't want it. But I was like, you know what? I can do this. And I did. But I realized that I was like, I want to learn more. And I tried to transition back to being a sous chef. I was actually going to be working at Mitakoya. Oh, wow. But then the pandemic happened. Yeah. And she was like, I cannot bring you in, girl. And I was like, that's real. So what I like going back to everything is like, my thing would be like, it is very hard, but it's also very rewarding when you literally have the experience of seeing your work manifest every single day. Like people who work in offices are working countless hours. They're typing up everything, but there's not a physical manifestation of what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And at the end of every single shift, no matter what position you work in a restaurant, you can see your work and effort, and it goes into the next
and
day
also
and
feel it as well, because I mean the biggest takeaway that I have just throughout all of the different hats that I wear throughout this industry is the community of it. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just like all of the work, all of the struggle, all of the focus and precision, all of that, it just has connected not only myself but my colleagues, and just really open up so many possibilities, and be like, oh, like this is great to be in like actual community within an industry. Yeah. So you feel as if you're contributing not only to
the business,
but also to your neighbors and people that you're interacting with that you would never meet traditionally. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, but also that's my whole thing. Yeah. You know, I was just like,
don't do it.
Yes, being very, very focused on the challenges that are rewarding, but also understanding that you are building this sense of cultural community along the way as well. Sure. So yes. So is there anything else that you would like to mention? Because I can keep you here forever. No. But also I was just like,
you gotta lock
Ray,
in.
we're about to get into
Ray,
all things beverage. But
yes. Check. I'm out.
Yes, no worries. Thank you so very much, Chef.
No, I won't.
And again, just on this, how do the people find you if you want to be found on the internet?
We don't want to be found.
Okay,
Thank you. Yes.
We don't want to be found.
Yeah, do you like that?
Talk to your friends.
Don't save her. Because you don't want to be saved.
Because again, you know, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
So, exactly. But you got to drop the Instagram though. What is the Instagram? You don't have to.
Cariño, Chicago.
Perfect.
Yeah, check it out on Instagram.
There you go.
Thank you very much, guys, for having me.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Have fun, Ray.
Thank you.
You got this.
Thanks for giving us your time.
Yes, thank you, Chef.
Take a pause.
Yeah.
Yep. Sweet. Ray, can you talk to us a bit about the beverage program here?
Yeah, so the beverage program here kind of is focused on like more like South American spirits. So all of it has to be, not all of it, but the main base is always going to be tequila, mezcal, some type of agave spirit. I could do a whiskey, but it's going to be from Mexico, gin from Mexico. No vodka, so vodka lovers have figured out.
One of the cocktails has a tepache.
Yeah, so I do like house-made tepaches. Honestly, that's probably like one of my first, like, I guess like pride cocktails. So I use it as a NA as well, but I clarify it. So I wash it down with some milk or some coconut milk, give it like a kind of like a little tropical twist on it. But most people don't. So honestly, I don't really like tepache myself. The flavor too is like more like a vinegar, kind of like aftertaste. I don't know. So I started playing around with it, clarified it, and it came out like kind of like crystal clear. And the flavor is like kind of like apple cider, so it has more like a pop tart to it. So
Yeah.
I went with it, kind of see what the guests would think, and started throwing it out there. And then I talked about it, and it was like, it's fermented pineapple, and they're looking at me like, what are you drinking right now?
Yeah.
So drink it. Next thing I'll look over, and it's gone. So I'm like, all right, people are really liking this one, and it was getting ordered and ordered. So I'm like, all right. Kind of what you were mentioning earlier, like I'm also my biggest enemy. Like it can look real nice, or I'm always just like, well, now I'm like a chef where it's like why ain't they eating everything? Like, oh, why ain't they drinking that? Oh, they don't like it. So that's why I got into with that. But yeah, I mean, I could
take
do
that shit personal.
Yeah, take it personal.
Well, that's why I think that so many people that work in the industry that are actually very good at their jobs have imposter syndrome, and I think that's why we keep pushing, because we're like, oh, how can we make this better, blah, blah, blah. Some people say it's anxiety. Some people say it's ADHD.
So column A, low column B.
I think it's like the desire to want people to actually enjoy everything.
Yeah.
You know?
No, yeah, it's definitely it's my anxiety.
And you're like,
ADHD.
well, what am I doing?
Yeah, I mean, so I could do almost like any cocktail for you. I could do martinis, but the martini's probably going to come with tequila or mezcal.
Damn right.
I actually just came up with a super cool one that's not on the menu. But I do like a chayote brine. So chayote is like a type of squash. Just brine that down. Then I do a tomatillo cilantro cordial. So kind of like keep it. And then honestly, I base all my cocktails off of their food.
Oh yeah.
Only because I'm super new at this. I don't know if like I been in the industry for a while. First time even bartending. Always wanted to do it. Thought I got like too old and it was too late. I couldn't bartend.
old?
So you
Yeah.
No.
So when I was at Honey's,
for
talking to Tyrone about that, and I wanted to bartend. He threw me in as a bar back. You know, that man sucks. Like I'd rather go back on the floor. And
How old were you when you decided or like transitioned into bartending?
when I got to Cariño, so a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Listen, I started bartending in 2021.
I didn't even drink until I got to Moody Tongue. I never really drink. I didn't like drinking. I smoke weed. I didn't drink.
Same. I'm not a drinker.
Yeah, so when I got to Moody Tongue, it was Jared would be like, "Hey, smell this beer. What do you smell?" I was like, "Beer? I don't know what you mean. How do you smell a beer?"
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like the way he like made you think about beer. And I was like, "All right, think about it. You smell orange? Yeah, I do. What part of the orange?" So he started to get in your mind. It's like, "Oh, okay, I like where it's going." Right. So I got like really into this beer. Started drinking beer. It's kind of how I started drinking. When I got here, it was only me and Camille, so it was two of us on the floor. At that time, we had Denise, who she kind of built the cocktail. She like gave us the ingredients. Showed us like 1-2 times how to do it. I picked onto it pretty quick, so she was like, "All right, then you're doing your thing. So I don't really got to show up no more." I took on the cocktails. Camille took on the wine. Came down to the point where it was like, all right. Well, honestly, it was like chef was like, "Hey, are you ever gonna change the menu? Are you gonna add anything on? What are you doing back there?" So I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know I could."
Because you don't
even
know
do
until
anything.
you
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
also, side note, it smells incredible.
I was gonna say
in here. It absolutely smells incredible in here.
I want this
it's nothing yet.
Yes.
I'm just kind of like doing that, and then I would just start playing around with like different things. I had to start reading books, so that's how I got into it. Because I was like, all right, now it's definitely a challenge. Because now chef was like, "I want you to make a mocktail pairing, and you need to come up with it now because Denise isn't here and she hasn't showed you one mocktail because we didn't have no mocktails."
Yeah.
It's like, all right, so I don't got to make one mocktail, but I got to make a mocktail pairing and try to get this to make sense to people.
Yeah.
So that was my first challenge, and I did it. And the real challenge was I had to bring it to chef so chef could taste it before I got it on the menu.
Yeah.
Which he has like one of the best palettes ever, so I appreciate that. He helped me with that. I built them. Some of them were like, it's cool, or it's boring. Try again, think again. So I kept doing that. Now honestly, I got some real cool mocktails on there.
I mean, I was looking at some of the descriptions, and I was like, I like that none of this sounds like juice.
Yeah, no. Also with that too, nothing's bought. There's no phony Negronis. There's no NA beer. There's no NA wine. I'll use like C-Lip and Oplos and stuff like that. But I'm making my own like cordials, my own type of things to go with these mocktails.
I think that like I enjoy that there is access to non-alcoholic beverages when people come in for tastings that don't make them feel like a sippy cup situation is happening. I think that people have been very afraid to try doing something savory or something a little bit more unctuous as non-alcoholic beverages because everyone thinks of pop and juice and whatever. But I was looking at your offerings and I enjoy the spirit of what you're putting down.
Also, a quick question just on kind of the educational aspect from the program to the guest. right? So with your specific approach, how do you kind of build that trust with the guest to introduce them to something new? Because you had mentioned like a gin from Mexico, or like if there was going to be a whiskey, it's coming from Mexico. How do you kind of like educate?
So I mean, I guess if like someone trying to go off menu, I just try to like figure out like if you go out, what kind of cocktail do you get? So that's like my first question.
Yes.
Right.
I always hate the
What's your
or they didn't
favorite
even like open up the menu. Like, what do you recommend?
Yeah.
It's like, well, my name's Raymond. What's your name? Just get to know each other real quick.
You're the opposite of me.
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't know you yet. I don't know what you drink. Also, like the preference thing is always just hard because it's like I like this, or I always hate when you're like I like tequila and mezcal. Oh, I don't like tequila and mezcal. It's like, well, we're off to a bad start. So what do you like to drink then?
Yeah.
So yeah, I just try to ask like if you don't like tequila or mezcal, what do you like to drink? And I bet you I could blend tequila and mezcal into that cocktail. You won't even know.
That's what I'm fucking saying.
Yeah.
So I've done that, and people were like, oh, or like you think all mezcal is like super just smoke blown on your face.
Right.
Like it's not.
No.
And I'm gonna show you one that you're gonna like, or I'm gonna show you one that's way more savory, or it smells like jalapeno and it smells like bell pepper, but it's gonna taste like green apple.
Yeah.
So,
I like a green mezcal. I like a young spirit. I think that, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, where I am trying to stop fucking with mezcal as my main spirit in every single cocktail that I do.
I fuck with mezcal all the time.
I know.
That's
but
my whole thing.
I like you were saying, I want to learn and grow, and like I am new to the front of house world and bartending. I know a lot about beer and wine from working in fine dining and having to do pairings. But spirits is still an open world for me, and I think for me, going from back of house to front of house, I'm tricking everyone because I have no concept of what should not go in a drink. And I think because you sort of went into it without the classic progression of being in bars, you are also probably doing shit that people wouldn't regularly think of because there's not the limitations of what the expectation is.
And there's also curiosity there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's all curiosity. So now maybe my approach to going to bars is different. Maybe now I watch how they stir something, like little small things. I watch how they cut a wedge.
Yeah.
Why are they filling their glass up with cold water first? So like little small things, then put in the freezer. Like just like little small things. Because
and the things that
I never
like
had.
garnishes here are wild, like very.
I got real good with a knife. I got real. So there's a funny story. When I first got here, I didn't even know how to use a knife. Like me and Chef were back there doing like the whole ghost thing when they're like doing the. And Chef's like holding my hand.
That's adorable. Okay,
That's a real story. Yeah. I told that to Heidi. That's a true story.
Yeah.
The chef like holding my hand and like teach me how to like glide it. The tip's gonna be the sharpest part. So start there and then he'll try to get fancy, hold it down, and start saying, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna stick to that.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's nice. All right.
So I learned how to use that knife pretty good.
Very
Nice.
Sagittarius of him.
Love that. So, with not only the build out of the cocktail, can you talk a bit about kind of the storytelling aspect within the program
of like the cocktails? Yeah. So my first cocktail I got on there. So I forget what bar I went to, but we did like it was tequila. It was like agave flight. And they gave us a thing called sangrita, and it was a verdita, and I forget what else. But the sangria was like red, it's kind of more like acidic. The verdita was, I want to say it was like cucumber in there, like jalapeno, but it's like a acidic kind of like herbal spice to it, and it's a chaser. And then you could start going like different, because I wasn't drinking at this time, like started going different spots to get tequila, and they'll always give this, or ask if you want a little chaser. It's like, oh, it's got to be a thing they do in like Mexico, or it's like a thing you do with tequila. So like, all right. So that came to mind. The aguachile is also about the same thing. It's like, how do I get a cocktail to match that aguachile? Like, I'm going to take that tequila and I'm going to add it into that verdita. Instead of having it as chaser, I'm just going to make it a cocktail. And then now what do? I'm just turning into a margarita pretty much.
Yeah.
So then with my cocktails, I always just kind of switch them. I had like a little tortilla chip rim on it, so it's kind of like a chips and salsa type of thing.
I like that.
So my story behind that one, well, the name on that, was Esmeralda.
Yeah.
Also, honestly, I don't really name all my cocktails. I make them. Kind of get help naming them because I don't even speak Spanish.
That's the move.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Esmeralda was all me. I thought of that one too because it was green, and I was like, well, when I was growing up as a kid, I always watched this show called Esmeralda with my grandma. It was some lady with green eyes. And then my daughter's birthday is May Cinco de Mayo, so her birthstone is green. So I'll knock out 2 birds, 1 stone, add 2 of my favorite girls into this cocktail, and call it Esmeralda.
2 birds, 1 stone also is a very good name for a cocktail. Yeah. If you're combining 2 of your most beloved ladies in your life. Putting that out there. Yeah.
The Chingona. So that cocktail came from a guest, honestly.
Chingona.
We got this Mexican Amaro called Sheila. So honestly, like one of my I love it. It just has like a lot of spices to it. There's like cinnamon in it. There's guajillo in it. It's gonna be like charred pineapple. And this guy was like, "Wow, this would be real good in a cocktail." I'm like, you know what? Instead of just drinking it in the back all the time, I should think about putting it in a cocktail.
Damn right.
Yeah.
So started just like kind of like reading books and like what goes with Amaro and things like that. I had G4 Reposado. I had nothing to do with it. So I just started just trying to blend things. I finally got it down, and then I called it Chingona because Sheila is one of the first like Mexican women-owned distilleries in Mexico. So
hell yeah.
Chingona means like badass woman, and it's definitely a spirit-forward cocktail. It does have some spice. I had like some mole in there, so it's not for the weak. So Chingona was the name.
And
for
neither
that
is
one.
a Chingona. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
My tepache. So I was making that tepache, and I had to figure out a cocktail to go with it as well. Also, chef's a big like tiki drinker type guy. So I wanted to get like some type of tiki
You think he knows about
drink.
fucking halakahiki?
Which one's that?
Is out in the suburbs. It's like river forest.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It looks and smells like a VA to this day.
He probably does. One time we were in Milwaukee, and he randomly sent us to some tiki bar that was super cool. So
Listen,
Yeah.
I
He's like a tiki bar
fucking
guy.
love a tiki bar.
Same.
But I don't like the ones downtown. I will say that they're overpriced. Fight me on it.
I got
But
with the cocktail. I got a cool one on the cocktail. So it's like talking about how like you develop and then you get excited to like watch your work. So when I was first starting, it was like doing my own cocktails. It was Valentine's Day, and I wanted to get some Valentine's Day special on there. And it was just like a tequila, lime, hibiscus, like the most jankiest cocktail. Because I still got the picture, and I look at it, and I'm like, damn, chef was just nice to me. He just let me put that out there. This was like, it looked horrible. You follow Misty, so that Como La Flor is now my new version my new version of what I made then, and like that's so different compared to where I was at. So I do notice like little things. It's super developed. So I noticed like little things like that, and.
Just
when
so
it's
everyone
always
knows,
stay
I'm wearing
humble.
a Selena shirt today.
Yeah, I noticed that right away. Yeah.
Just went to the museum in Texas. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, but I'm just like noticing like little small things like that about me. Like I'm definitely growing into it. Yeah, those are like my storage on my names. Up in Newton what was a cool one as well. That's the one before the last. I got that from Camille's dad. That's not on the menu no more, but that was my take on the last word. Also. So that's why I get my things. Also against the chef being from Detroit, so kind of like things like that. That's how honestly I base my cocktails off of. I base my cocktails off of this room.
Yeah, it's very like it's like this idea of like intentional inspiration.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and that to me is one of the coolest things that I've seen so far, just as like an outsider looking in. But then another thing is I'm really interested to hear of, with all of, the accolades and praise, like, I mean, how does that affect the beverage program? Is that pressure something that you're conscious of, or just like, no, we're just out
This
here
man
doing our
said he
thing?
had anxiety earlier.
Oh, I'm just, I'm trying to speak on it.
Oh, definitely that is our pressure now. Because it's my name, it's my cocktail. And besides that, you're paying for it, so I don't want to give you something that sucks, or I just like half-ass, like put no thought into. So it's just this everyday stress and struggle. That's why I said like I get what the chefs like getting out. It's like, hey, how come they didn't finish that cocktail all the way, or like something wrong with it, or they're not drinking it as quick as I thought they would have drank it. But then going into like the Michelin and like James Beard, we know they're in here, we know they're coming in. It's just everyday pressure.
And is that? Does that become a new standard for what you all are working on for next door as well?
Oh yeah, that's definitely the big standard for next door.
Can you talk about that a bit?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's not too much to talk about yet because we're still developing it. It's gonna be the Molino. So I could tell you right now, I'm gonna go all masa focused cocktails. So in the back, I've been doing a thing called Tahino. It's fermented corn masa.
I just started learning about
awesome.
this.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm not familiar. You're like,
So I read
nice.
about it.
Yeah.
I seen it. Trial and error, like Chef always says, like, hey, because he was seeing me something like the scourge or the fetus, like, why ain't you trying that no more? It's like, it's.
Sometimes you gotta
He's
separate
like, no,
yourself
you got to
and come
keep
back.
doing it. Like,
Yeah.
so like, do you think every time I made the pasta the first time or I did something, it just came out perfect the first time? Like, no, I was like, throw it away, scratch it, throw it away, do it again. So, yeah, he made me like, because I wasn't just gonna give up on it because it was hard. It was coming out super brown, it was coming out dark, it was just coming out not the way I wanted it to. And I won't say I mastered it, but I got it down.
That
So I
is
haven't put it on my
imposter syndrome.
menu. I haven't put it on the menu, but so the cool thing is we do the taco makaze. That's kind of like my playground area, which I'm still giving good cocktails. But now I get instead of before I put it on the list here, like for the dining room, I kind of like give it out to
You
a
get
couple
to-
people, or
yeah.
we have repeat guests, so we all make friends here. Like I made like multiple friends with like guests that come in.
Absolutely.
They're not even guests anymore; they're friends.
Yeah.
So when I see them coming in, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna come up with a whole different menu and just give it to them and see what
The
they say.
pipeline from regular to friend, or like guest to regular to friend, is real in small.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I wish I had everything on me. So I did this Tahino. I clarified it. It came out actually pretty cool. So yeah, I definitely have a direction of what I'm gonna go with that next door. But yeah, we're gonna do slushy.
And
So
also,
there will
it's
be like
really
a margarita
good-
slushy.
But also at the same time, it's really great to be able to have that rapport with
Your chef.
your clientele and also with your chef as well, to be able to experiment in real time
Yeah,
with guests here as well.
yeah. So that's kind of what I do. So yeah, next door I could just definitely say it's gonna be more masa driven for me. Tahino cocktail would definitely will be over there.
I'm excited.
See, I'm learning so
I didn't know
much
about that.
because I'm not familiar.
I wasn't until like in the last couple of weeks, mostly because my best friend is Rochelle, and
So it's almost
in a
the
future.
same as the tapache, but it's
Yeah.
just not a fruit this time. Since I got all the masa here anyway, like
Yeah.
house-made,
Right.
handmade house-made masa. They have any scraps, I take it. I just boil it down with some pill and seal, strain it out or blend it, strain it out, and just let it sit in the mason jar for about 3 days.
does
Just sweet
blending
and
it
tangy.
probably help with the first concentration by particle, but also like texture wise? I imagine if you blend it versus not blending it.
Well, I mean, honestly, I've done it both ways. I done it one time because Misty was recording me and I was trying to give her something cool to record. I just started like trying to cook something, and then instead of blending, I just like threw it straight in, and I was like, damn, I messed that up. But she doesn't
No one
know
knows.
that. Yeah, honestly, it didn't really change. It didn't really change
Okay.
nothing. I just always like blend it into just trying to just like soak it into more of the water, and
Yeah.
then so that's like why I do that. But it didn't really do much.
Texturally, yeah. All right.
So as
We're getting on time.
as we have known each other for, quite a bit of time, because I'm just going back through all of the things, especially honeys, which we will talk about off mic. Anyhow, just what I've been hearing in regards to your role and how you interact with people is just like your beverage program is an extension of your personality and your curiosity to the guests as
but
well.
it's not monotone, as you try to
Exactly.
gag yourself earlier.
Right. It's just
Listen.
like it is elevated, it's dynamic, it's rich, and also it's honest.
Yeah, I mean,
Right,
I also try to put a cocktail on there for everyone. So there's
And
should be
inclusive.
something on there. Yeah, there should be something on there for at least everyone. I also try to get every like at least agave, so it's not just tequila and mezcal. 'Cause some people are afraid of tequila and mezcal, or like never even had it. We get a lot of guests who never had
Fight 'em
tequila
on
and
it.
mezcal.
Oh wow.
Or if
Yeah.
they've had it, it's like Jose Cuervo.
Yeah,
Yeah. Which, listen, I recently had one of their reserved situations. Way different
Yeah, we
than
got
what I
them
was
over
busting out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Way different
Yeah.
than when I was busting out in college. But like, I'm like looking around this space and the fact that you can like literally see what is available and what. I think just looking at that wall over there, which you cannot see, I will not describe for you because I am not good at that. I will say that like you have a couple that I, as a bartender, have never seen before. But a lot of this, people won't think that agave spirits are as diverse as this, which is wild. But
and also it's great because looking around, there's so many talking points.
yeah,
Right? So you look at literally anything, there's a story behind it, and also you can enjoy it at the same time.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, kind of like what I tell. So what I learned about mezcal as well, because I'm still learning about it. It's like wine.
Yeah.
There's also what's called the terroir in the mezcal as well. But what it grows around is what it's going to taste like. So
Exactly. It's
town
that
that it's
whole
from.
idea that if it grows with it, it goes with it.
Yeah.
Yes, I was like, that is what I remember from all of the extensive years learning wine.
Well,
So
also the other thing is, like, a lot of people don't realize that much like wine, agave does take time to grow. You have to treat the land properly. It's an investment. And I think that what I really enjoy is, and I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with this, the fact that agave spirits are priced up now that people understand that it is not a renewable resource in the way that they would like to believe that it is. I think that the fact that they're holding standards to what is and is not an agave spirit is also going to do wonders, not only for the spirit world, but also for Mexico, because it's not being exploited as much as it was 10 years ago when it comes to agave. So
I mean, since we're on mezcal, like it's literally it's a handmade, it's a handmade spirit.
yeah.
From it being planted to the seeds, from it being grown and chopped down,
and it's
to
a
it being
family
crushed and smoked
business
yeah,
for
it's
the
family
most
business.
part.
Yeah.
Every family has devoted generations of caretaking to these plants, to this land. And like Pop Off Slay, Trinidad got rid of all their fucking sugarcane. They were like, we're done with this.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
yeah.
not really, but we're not a big export anymore. So I think that the protections that are happening now with agave spirits is exactly where we need it to be. Keep growing.
Finally. Yes. And so
They finna open soon. What time do y'all open?
Oh, we open at 6.
Oh,
Yeah.
why did it say the thing online when I looked at it today that it opens at noon?
I don't
Wait,
know.
cut that
Also,
out.
it still might be saying
Google.
Brass Heart or something. Because when I call Uber, it still says Brass Heart. So maybe, I don't know. But yeah, it's 6 o'clock.
Okay, never mind. Sorry, I was panicking all day for no
You're
reason.
like, hold
I'm
on.
like, stop moving shit around.
you're
They
like,
don't have
hold
to
on.
fix all
You're
of this
like,
for
what do you mean?
service. Okay, cool.
So as we wrap up, from your own words, can you tell us what people should expect from your beverage program and how you want them to feel?
Yeah, so definitely expect
Tell 'em how to
agaves.
feel.
You're gonna get some spice. I like spice, so I throw a little bit of spice. But I also try to make cocktails for everyone. But if you want a cocktail, I'm gonna add some spice to it. I love spice.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about what type of spice? Is it because I feel like sometimes
Flavor
people will hear
spice,
spice.
spice,
it's gonna be
like
more like
capsaicin
it's
spice.
gonna be like more like flavor spice. Like
Yeah.
I might throw in some serrano. Get it like ruined to like guajillo. I like the fruity smokiness you get from that guajillo. So you're gonna pick up things like that. I'm definitely coming in with like more like clean approach to my cocktail. So nothing like too heavy on the palate. Nothing like real murky. Just coming in with stuff like that. It's kind of clean. And things that will go with the food. So I could kind of like build like a cocktail, kind of like pairing if you wanted to or something. So like the cocktails will match the food.
Perfect. And then
I was gonna say, y'all need to take a little trip up to Rogers Park, visit me at the bar.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
come on down, But then also, what is outside of here? What is your go-to cocktail?
My go-to cocktail.
Wait, did you say outside of here? Okay, not here.
Yes,
I have 2. It depends on what mood I'm in.
Okay,
Go for it.
So I'll say my first one was kind of like my go-to recently is a mezcal Negroni.
We just talked about how I put that on the menu
so I
at
love
work.
mezcal Negroni.
Oh, yeah.
Mezcal Negroni is my jam. That is
Well, it's not a mezcal Negroni.
do you mean?
Well, his is, but when I say mezcal Negroni, I'm thinking, remember, I'm only a white Negroni bitch.
Yeah, you're
Oh, got it.
Learn this.
Yes,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Yes, but my go-to.
I go to
Also,
Don't
laugh at me, Jojo.
You can confirm I love a mezcal Negroni. Okay.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Continue.
If I'm at Money Gun, shout out Money Gun, Trinidad
Yes.
Sour.
Yes.
Ah,
yes.
the sour of my people.
Yes. Okay.
But Vets also has like probably like one of the best like Trinidad's. But yeah, Trinidad Sour for sure. Negroni. Those are
I
my
don't think
go-tos.
Trinidad has been said this much on this ever. You said it like 3 times in a row just now. I thought I was going to pop back up in Port of Spain.
You're like, I think I was just being called home right now.
I think so.
Yeah,
No.
that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, my friend,
Yeah.
how was your time with us?
It was fun.
Great.
More relaxing than I thought.
Yeah, we're just people.
Yeah,
Like
just
exactly.
chilling.
But listen, over 250,000 people are going to listen to this. So.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Hopefully I could add some follow. I have no followers on Instagram.
Me neither. I like it that way, though. Don't follow me.
You know, but that was going to be my follow-up. How do people find you if you want to be found?
Oh, Instagram's El Gusano 312.
Okay.
That is how I would be found.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. Great. And then you are...
Or
here-
come next
Yes,
door
yeah.
to the Molino when we open up.
There y'all go.
Yes, there you go.
Pitching it, selling it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, and you are here at Cariño every day that
Yeah, every
you're
day.
open? Yeah.
Every day.
Perfect.
Every day that they're open, because they be closing for reasons that are important and valuable to them, their staff, and showing the community that it's okay to not have your favorite place available every day of the week.
I mean, I guess with me too gets into like chef, because yesterday chef was like, "Hey Ray, who's gonna start making your cocktails?" Like, what do you mean? What am I gonna do? He's like, "Well, eventually you got to teach someone to make the cocktails." Like,
Yeah.
Yes, and that's
Yeah.
important.
right, I'll teach them, but will they ever make the cocktail? No, because I'm gonna make the cocktail.
Yeah.
You gotta
Like, I tell
listen.
chef, like, "Hey chef, you should come out on like expo, and like you don't always gotta be in." It's like, "No, I want to cook."
Yeah.
So it's like I was trying to take him out. He trying to take me out. Like, no.
yeah.
Like I
Okay.
want to make.
Well,
the cocktail.
see, listen, the way that he's set
I like
up
it. I'm having
is
fun.
Yeah.
he's been doing this for a hot second minute, but I think that it is important and valuable the earlier on you are in whatever position you're in to learn how to start explaining that to other people. Because when I transitioned from being a line cook, prep cook into a sous chef position, no one was fucking teaching me the things that
To,
you
like,
need
train
to
you,
know
yeah.
because they're gatekeeping. But I mean, pop off slay, continue being on the floor doing it. I like that. But you should also
Pop-Off Slay is
start
killing
practicing.
me.
I'm
I love
sorry.
It. I love it. I love it. I just have not
I've been
heard
hanging
that.
out
Yeah, no.
with a lot of gays recently. As a queer myself, I'm not around
Same.
the gays a lot. It's in
Same.
my brain now.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well, then when I start,
Pop off slay?
dropping that
Say it. Say it, mean it.
pop off slay.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, no, that pop off slay. Like completely like the before loop. Okay.
I just
so-
feel myself turning more and more into a gay man every year that I continue to work at my job, which is crazy.
that's.
But,
I
yeah.
have zero commentary on that.
Okay, you're welcome.
Just like as a gay man myself, I don't. Okay.
Listen, gay men are basically black women. Fight me on it.
Okay.
Fight me on it.
Okay. Fair. Well.
I think we have to finish now.
Well, and on that note, Ray, thank you so very much.
Yeah, thanks guys for coming out.
We have to come in for dinner
Yeah, you do.
Oh,
and-
110%.
and for cocktails.
I don't
Like,
go
want the whole
out,
thing.
so the idea, I also don't go to places that I feel like I can make it myself as someone who can make whatever the fuck I feel like. So I gotta come in because my best friend and I have recently decided that our summer project is, she's half Mexican and she decided she wants to start making her own tortillas. So that is our
Okay.
side quest this summer. But I need to do more research first.
Real.
That's what I'm saying. So, yeah, you're going to see me.
Come stage with chef. Chef will let you stage in here.
Listen, I have been thinking about staging randomly, but I also know that if I do it, I'm going to get sucked back in.
All right.
So I have not done it yet. I have been helping out some of my chef
We love a
friends.
boundary.
If they need like a line cook for a couple of weeks or whatever the fuck,
Pop in.
I will do that. I will pop in, but I'm bartending now and fighting for my life on this podcast, apparently.
can come in and stage for you.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
well, no, I can do both.
Yes, I was
But I'm
like-
trying to see what's going on over
Yeah.
there. I miss that life.
I'm like, you're on both sides of this house.
I just taught like 3 other people at my job how to sharpen their knives. I forgot that I knew how to do that.
It's
Muscle
the,
memory.
It's the image for me of the ghost with chef teaching you how to do the knife
Yeah,
work.
it's a
Like I
real
was
story.
like, yeah, same. I was
And
like,
then he bought me like a little play set. It was like a little Play-Doh knife set.
okay.
Because he wasn't sure if I knew how to use the real knife yet or not.
You're like,
But
no,
I
we're gonna
graduated and
slow
got
down,
like a
there-
real
there we
knife.
go.
So,
He's
yeah.
like, hold on.
Yeah.
So, well,
All right. Now that we're
on
here,
that note, well,
you got to do some stuff.
no,
You ain't got nothing to do.
no. I mean, because we're
Well, okay.
Yeah,
Then
okay.
let's go. Let's go.
Yes.
Shout out to
Yeah.
everyone here in this room. Thank you
Yes.
for inviting us. And my name is Reba Shepherd. You could find me on Instagram at REBARU, Rebaru. But don't.
And I am just known at Graham, and you can find me on Instagram at thisisbiko. But then also on top of that, please come and see our friends at Cariño, and then also at the new spot, which please,
Hermanos Molino.
yes. Amazing.
Molinos Hermanos.
Listen,
No, you're fine.
neither can I.
Say it.
It's fine.
Whoa, you didn't hear anything.
Yes.
Molinos des Hermanos.
Okay, perfect. One more time.
The room
so we
has
have
said
it.
it.
Molinos des Hermanos.
Okay. yeah.
Listen, don't let these white people
Yeah, right,
shame
don't
you.
name my cocktails. I
No,
don't name
you're
my
good.
cocktails.
You're good.
I go to another funny one because they'll be like, "Oh, can I get this cocktail?" And I'm like, "What?" They all like, "Oh yeah, all right." No.
Listen, my
so dumb.
last cocktail on the winter menu was a
It's so
play
good.
on a penicillin, but with mezcal. I used a young mezcal in the base and an aged one for the top off. I wanted to call it Rosemary's Baby, but I didn't want it to be like Rosemary's Baby, the movie.
Right,
I
right.
wanted to literally say that. I can no longer remember it, but I had to have two other people that spoke Spanish translate it for me, and they both did it as Rosemary's Baby. I was like, no. I want like de Romera. I think it was El Niña de Romera. I am not Spanish. I do not speak Spanish. I am from Trinidad, where we speak English or bad English. You're lucky I don't have an accent.
Yeah, I'm from Chicago.
Yeah.
I'm Spanish. I
Yeah.
don't speak Spanish.
People think I'm Dominican.
yeah.
Or great
every
English.
day. The same. Yeah.
You both are doing great. But then also, on that note,
We got to go.
thank
Love you,
you
bye.
so very much. And we'll see you out there.
Yes.
Thank you. Peace.